It's a journey through like
Right.
the harder African development. You know, human rights, conflict resolution, sustainability, economic growth. I mean, we get all. We tackle everything. Filtered, unflinching. What more can you ask for, right?
We as the diaspora, we just go through these motions, but this is just a game changer, man. This is just a game changer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gives us the opportunity to, to question what we're thinking, challenge the status quo, engage in the issues that matter, expand our thinking beyond the ordinary. That's what we want to do. That's what we're here for.
It's not just a meeting of, it's not just a debate, right? It's also a melting pot of culture. It's a network gold mine. So for professional, and this is across all countries and disciplines, we are coming together to swap ideas. We are swapping ideas and dream up strategy for progress. Because as a diaspora, we need to be a force to reckon, to be part of the solution, to be part of the discussion, because we have so much to offer. But that begins where? It begins with this type of platform, this type of conversation where we challenge some of the preconceived ideas, right? So, to me, it's just so mentally stimulating that I'm looking forward to the debates, who's going to be on it, and I cannot imagine the audience that is going to bring its own energy to the conversation. Hello, Mr. Tony.
Mustapha, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Another one.
Yeah,
How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling great. We're at it again, huh? Looks like we're at it again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. And tonight
Awesome.
we do have a guest of honor, a man that is both a pillar of the community, but also that is the representation of being a gentleman. So tonight is a special night. We do have a great guest, and we're going to talk about some interesting things today.
I'm looking forward to it. So at this moment, what are we waiting on? Let's introduce the guest of honor.
Yeah, we're going to introduce the guest. Well, I wish I had drums so I can put the drum rolls, because he's a big brother of mine. He's somebody that I truly appreciate. And every exchange with him is a wealth of wisdom that you get out of. It's a wealth of knowledge that you get out of. He's a business owner. He is a father. He is a community leader. He's a lot of things. And sometimes I wonder how he wears all of those. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, drum rolls. Tony, please introduce your guest.
At this moment, let's introduce Dr. Barth.
Dr. Barth.
Hey, welcome. How are we doing, sir?
There it is.
You guys are silly, but well, thank you for having me. I'm glad and excited to be, amongst you gentlemen.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to spend your valuable time with us tonight.
Right.
Well,
because we know how busy you are.
Well, it's an honor. It's an honor being with you guys.
Oh,
terrific!
Awesome.
So could you I don't think you need any more introduction, but could you, for the sake of our audience, introduce yourself again?
Well, I'm known as Barth Shepkong. First of all, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a social entrepreneur, and also I'm involved in the community, doing a few things here and there, especially in the African community. one of the co-creators of the Columbus African Festival, and also the co-founder of the African. And I find myself, right now working on another huge project, which is called the Ohio African Chamber of Commerce. So that is who I am. A business owner, and just love being a dad. So
Yeah.
that's me.
I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So to that about the African Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to bring that together? What inspired this formation there?
Yeah, so I mentioned the Columbus African Festival. A group of us came together, to bring the Columbus African Festival to light in 2019. And when you do things and then you realize that there's some kind of there's a lacuna or there's a gap somewhere that needs to be filled. In the course of conversations, we realized that when you look at the Latino community, there's a chamber. Based on the conversation that I was having with some people in the city council, there was a chamber, they have a chamber, the Latino Chamber of Commerce, they have the Asian Chamber of Commerce, there is a Chinese Chamber of Commerce. And I turned around and I was, okay, where is the African Chamber of Commerce? So sometimes when you hear some of these ideas or you hear some of these things, you have things going on in your head. I mean, got a group of people together. Mustapha happens to be one of them, as a matter of fact. We were just talking about it and we said, okay, you know what? I think instead of talking about all these things, it's going to be great for us to put it to action because, most of the time we're being accused of just talking and talking and talking instead of just walking the talk. So we decided to register it in January of 2022. But we just registered the Ohio African Chamber of Commerce in 2022. But at the same time, we're trying to navigate, how to make it come to light. Then again, if you don't take a bold step, an idea is just an idea. So we just decided, you know what, we just have to get the ball rolling. So this July we decided to launch it officially, and that is where we are today. So it was launched during the business forum a day before the 2024 Columbus African Festival, and that is where we are today. So that's all where the inspiration came from, conversations from people and like-minded individuals, and we decided, you know what, let's get it rolling.
See, that's pretty awesome. This was actually my second year going to the Columbus African Festival, but you say you've had it since 2019. Could you explain that growth that you've seen from the first one that you did in 2019 to the one that you just recently did in 2024? Because it was magnificent. It was, we saw the stages we saw all the acts, and it was the modeling show. It was pretty awesome. So please, can you explain some of that to us?
Absolutely. If you were there in 2019, you will see the progression. I mean, I always say this. I always remember, when we had it in 2019 at Innis Park, and this is what I always say. I always remember the stage we had. The stage was almost falling. And at the same time, we said. I remember vividly what I said. I said to some of the folks that were part of the planning, you know what? If we go to that, I said my own way of gauging the success of that event in 2019 will be if we have at least 500 people in that park, Innis Park. But guess what? We had bands, wristbands. We went to Innis Park. The number of people I saw there was wow. I was really overwhelmed. I can tell you that in 2019 we had about almost more than 1,000 people, for the first Columbus African Festival. Yeah, so then we decided, you know what, we saw the growth and we were, no, we're not going to continue at Innis Park. Let's look for a different park. So we decided to go to Franklin Park on Broad Street. We had it, we had it did we have 2019? No, 2019, then COVID came, right?
Yes, of course.
And we didn't have it in 2020. We came back 2021. Franklin Park 2022. Then we Franklin Park. Then we decided, you know what, we can see the growth. So we need to take it to downtown, because when you're having a festival of that magnitude, you are not showcasing African culture to Africans. You are showcasing the African culture to non-Africans. So why not take it downtown? So 2023 we had it at Genoa Park, and this year, of course, we also had it at Genoa Park. And this year we decided to collaborate with the Ohio Ghana Fest to bring the festival to light. So it has been growing, and the hope and prayers is it will keep growing. You can see every year, you can see the progression.
Let me thank you for that, because I recall me and my wife, we took the kids and we went to I think it was the Asian festival. And it was like New Year's time. And in my mind, I know me and my wife, we had that discussion. I was like, why can't we have something like this? And 5-6 years later, you brought it to light for the city of Columbus. Yeah, I need to thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. I really do.
Thank the team. It's a collective effort. We have a lot of people that work behind the scene. I'm just a messenger, but there are a lot of people that are working hard to make that happen.
But it starts with that vision. And for that vision, you guys started that vision. You had it in Enos Park. You thought it was going to be something small, 500, and you got 1,000. I mean, that's incredible. Do you have an idea of what your total attendance was this year? I mean, through a 4-day event, you could have had that in a couple hours, actually.
In a 4-day, I mean, 3 days, because we had the business
3 days.
Forum, then we have Saturday and Sunday. So we are, I think, based on the data that we collected, we're hitting almost 10,000 within the
wow
3 days that we
wow
and going. So our hope is to get to 20 to 30,000, so that we can also boost the economy. Basically, by the way, we're boosting the economy of Columbus, the city of Columbus. So we'll keep continuing to boost the economy. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's definitely a growing process, and it's been a pleasure being part of it as well. And the Columbus African Festival is a great event it's a family oriented, and it's been fantastic for the city of Columbus and the people that come to it as well. But I wanted to bring Dr. Barth to the Columbus, to the Ohio African Chambers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know it's a new organization that you put together, or that you chair, or what. And we also know that it's never easy to take, for those type of things to take hold. But what are the main goals and objectives of the chamber at this point?
Absolutely. Pretty. I can name it over and over. I can go all day, but the main objectives, you look at our business community, the African business owners here. So we're trying to figure out how to create an avenue for business development. Business development for our African-owned businesses. And entrepreneurs in Ohio, by basically providing resources, networking opportunities, and also business education, economic empowerment, whereby we will to enhance the economic growth and opportunities within the African community, advocacy and representation. When you look at it, that is lacking, advocacy and representation. How many of our business owners or African-owned businesses, are being represented? Let's say, for example, the corridors of power. So, want to represent the interests of African businesses in Ohio, and also create avenues for networking and partnerships, collaborations. And of course, we spoke about the Columbus African Festival, and it's going to also be an opportunity for cultural exchanges and integration. And it goes on, and capacity building, and maybe in the future we look at international trade between and investments between let's say African businesses, or the state of Ohio, or African businesses and trade, and maybe some businesses back in the continent of Africa. So I'm just giving you a synopsis, but basically those are some of the objectives that hopefully we will be able to. But the most important thing for me is advocating for Black-owned businesses in terms of some of the policies that are out there. And when you look at most of our African-owned businesses, I mean, they don't really have the resources, or they don't know that there are resources out there that will help them, will help their businesses. So that is what we set out to do.
Okay. So exactly how. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, Tony. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I was just wondering exactly. Could you give us more detail on how you would be able to support the African businesses and the entrepreneurs in Ohio?
Of
in
course,
Columbus.
absolutely. Like, just for example, when you look at how many businesses out there that are aware that you can be able to go to Franklin County maybe and work and get some information from the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I was at let me tell you this. I was at a conference yesterday and today that was organized by the Franklin County, Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I can tell you this. I can count the number of Black-owned businesses, African-owned businesses that I saw there. We're just a few of us. So is it the lack of resources? Do they know that? I mean, you cannot just jump into conclusion. Maybe they had no idea that things like this are going on. So, it will be an opportunity for us to reach out to them. And at the same time, when these opportunities avail themselves, we can reach out to them and, you know what, these are resources that are out there for you that can be able to help your business. Or at the same time, we organize, let's say, for example, a business development program that will be able to educate some of these businesses on the resources out there. So it's gonna be all encompassing, and again, it will take time, but we hope to be I don't want to say the gatekeeper, but to be that resource hub for African-owned businesses.
Yeah, that's a great point. Being the hub, and you as a business owner, you know that those things don't come easily. There are challenges that come with it, right? So, and you're fairly new in terms of chamber, and but how do you? I mean, we all know that African businesses face challenges, and how does the chamber, for instance, is planning to help these businesses face those challenges? And what are some of the steps that you guys are, doing right now or planning to do?
Okay, so in terms of helping, I'm sure you've heard of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, right? So, by the way, our office is located at in their own building, as a matter of fact. But we're going to be working with in collaboration with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce to create a path, reaching out to these businesses, and as I said, hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be coming up with a series, right? Like we call it a business series, whereby hopefully we'll be able to get some of these businesses. We're gonna be using the community leaders, business leaders in the community, to create a program, maybe a one-day program that will give them access to information that they need in terms of how to how to run their business, but the resources that they need to grow their businesses. Another thing that we're thinking of doing that is on the pipeline. I don't know if you are aware of the Black, or is it minority business? Before you get into the city, you get it.
Yeah.
You get So you have to be an MBE or the women.
An edge.
Aha. So why can't we have a version of African? Why can't we as Africans train our own African own businesses? To get those certifications, because again, when you look at it, I've gone through the program, but when you look at it, some of the certification, there's a little bit of a cultural difference in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the steps that we're trying to find a way to break those barriers, because when some of these things are coming up, like some of the questions does not even make sense to me as an African-owned business, right? But we're just lumped, together.
Right.
We're just lumped into it. So we're trying to see how we can break that and find a way to make it easier and accessible, or those resources can be easy or accessible to other African-owned businesses.
So it's interesting. You're talking about with the established businesses. I love that. Do you have anything for how about people who's thinking of like starting a type of business or like those type of resources, maybe mentorship or anything like that? Do you have anything like that?
Of course, absolutely. It's just as I said, it's just encompassing. We're not just gonna be focused on just it's gonna be an educational program. We're talking about mentorship, mentorship programs, of course. But it's gonna be step by step. We're just fairly new, so we don't want to bite more than we can chew.
Right.
So it's gonna be, again, as the Chinese say, a journey of 1,000 miles start with a step. So the first step for us is building it and having all these like programs that will educate our Black-owned businesses and also directing them to resources that will help them. At the end of it all, hopefully we'll be able to, once we are well established, we'll be able to start offering even grants. You never can tell, grants to small-owned businesses and helping our community.
Yeah, that is
mentorship programs. Definitely. There will be.
That is terrific. That is terrific. And I think as part of these broader challenges or opportunities that are presenting themselves, you and the chambers, the African Ohio African Chamber of Commerce, is you guys. Hopefully, you're going to be the forefront of speaking on behalf of our African-owned businesses, not only in Columbus, but also in the whole state of Ohio. So, Tony, we're going to switch gear a little bit. I know Dr. Barth here is, and we also, before I continue, thank the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, African Ohio Chamber of Commerce, to be a sponsor of the African Debate Series. So, as you know, Dr. Barth is smiling. That means he's aware of the debate series. So, wanted to switch gear a little bit about it. And I think you were one of the first people or first person that this idea was shared with.
Before we switch gears for 1 second, before we switch gears to that, are there any events that the chambers are planning within the next, I don't know, months or a couple months or a year or anything that the audience should be aware of?
Of course. We are actually, before the end of the year, we are working on staging a series. As I said, it's going to be a series, like 3-part series. So it's going to be educational. So right now we're trying to agree on which one to start. So I just want you guys to stay tuned, and we will definitely share that information. But the aim is for us to have something before the end of the year. So hopefully by the end of November, before the year runs out. So definitely there's gonna be something that will be, very, very advantageous, or advantageous to African, not just African-owned businesses, those that are thinking of starting business. So when you hear about the chamber, it's not just about business. It has everything: politics, policies and advocacy. So which is something that I'm very big on in terms of policy and procedures and advocacy. So just stay tuned. It's not just business, but it's all encompassing.
So looking forward to it.
So something is in the kitchen for before the end of the year.
For the end of the year, yes. Something is
awesome.
We'll definitely.
Yes. Mustapha, it seems like you're always talking about food.
Well, I'm an African. I can't deny that food is a big part of who I am. I cannot deny that. I can't deny that. So food is Yeah, that is no. We can't. You can't be African and be not about all about food at some point.
Okay.
That is funny. That is funny. Yeah. So I'm going. And thank Tony for kind of getting that question in, because it's important to know what the chamber is planning before the end of the year and what are the coming initiatives that they have. So, but I'm going to talk about the African debate series, Dr. Bort. How did you get involved with the African debate series? And from your perspective, why is such thing is a vital platform for the diaspora?
How did I get involved with that?
I know that no. I hope that nobody strong armed you into it.
Actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, I'm sure, Mustapha, I'm sure you know or you realize how even the Columbus African Festival started, right? We started as the African, whereby we just go to different African businesses like restaurants. We just gather ourselves there. We just throw in a question and we just debate amongst ourselves while we enjoy good food,
Right.
And we, as a way of also supporting African businesses, especially restaurants. So how did I get involved? This conversation, as a matter of fact, was thrown at me a while back. I can tell you as way back as 2015. So way back as 2015. But, again, it's just, again, as I said earlier, about ideas. Then, all of a sudden, boom, I was just, as a typical DP. DP just reached out to me. I think this should be great. We want you to be part of it. I said, anything I can do to make it happen. But it's very important. Jokes apart, for me, I asked this question. I was okay. If we have the debate, then what next? I hope that some of the questions or issues that we're gonna be tackling is not just gonna be looked upon just as a debate. We just go, we argue our points, then we go back home to our comfort, to the comfort of our own homes. No, I hope that this will help in terms of crafting some form of policies, some of policies for the African community, not just in Central Ohio, but in the state of Ohio in general, and also hopefully in the whole of the United States, because these are issues that will definitely affect us, or these are issues that are affecting us as a people. And as African diaspora, I understand that most of the time, we disagree on this, we disagree on that, but what does the disagreement reach? Where does it take us to? So I feel like it is a great opportunity for us to sit down, have great intellectual conversations amongst ourselves, and at the same time use some of the findings of those conversations to basically find a way to advocate for policies that will enrich us as a people.
Enrich us as a people. I think that's a good way to put it. All right, Tony.
So, okay, I feel like you've already explained like the main goals of the chamber. We really appreciate it. All the information is a lot of information that you're passing on to us. All that, awesome. In your opinion, what challenge would you say that African businesses face in Ohio, or you could talk about the United States even, and let's talk Ohio, because we want to know how the chamber is going to help the Ohio folks out.
So, wait a minute, Tony. Now you're confusing our guest, because we talked about that. You talk about the chamber.
Yeah.
Now we talked about the African series. Now we're going back to the chamber. Dr. Barth, he's a doctor. This guy's very smart. This guy is very smart. So he will see the plot.
He will see. You're correct.
he will see the plot. Because you see how animated he got when he started talking about the debates, right? So I'm gonna try to keep going with the
That's you.
debates
That's
and
right.
ask
Sorry,
him this
sorry,
question.
sorry.
Uh, uh, yeah, and ask him this question because and he's absolutely right. They used to run this organization or this event it's called the African. It was an interesting. They were very interesting because of the quality and the depth of the conversation that was taking place. But I wanted to come back to the issues. That do you what issues do you hope, Dr. Bart, that this series should address or that are often overlooked within the mainstream discussions?
Yeah, when
Yeah, wait.
this is political season, right? It's political season, and I can tell you one thing. I It's just a typical example, and I will use that example to respond to your question. Someone saw me with a cup of Starbucks, this sitting down on the table during the conference this today, actually, this afternoon, and he sent me a text. It was, why are you
Jesus, right.
giving money to Starbucks when they are basically in support of what is going on in Gaza? And he said, well, they accept, they basically. I said, well, if we're gonna follow that, then I don't think we're gonna I don't think all of us will be in the United States. That's
Right.
what I told, and I texted him back, and then he said, well, he knows that at the same time there are some people that definitely will not be voting. They will just go and vote for. They just go and they vote for a different. They are not voting for either candidates. And my response to him was, okay, how is that going to help the situation?
Right.
So I think these issues that are going to be discussed, I think it's going to be informative, and also at the same time, it's going to be educational, right? It will help. It will.
Right.
I hope that it will be educational, to whereby people will be able to learn from some of the. Sometimes you don't just make emotional decisions. Sometimes you have to sit and think
Right.
about what will affect you, your children, or your family, or your community, right? You don't just make emotional decisions based on. I said, okay, if you don't vote for this candidate, then what else? Then, or if you decide that you're gonna go vote for somebody else, then maybe the person that you don't like might end up becoming there and might end up getting there. So my own thing is finding a way to educate people, not just having debates, educating people on the issues, and giving them the opportunity for them to make informed decisions. I think for me, that's what I hope that the debate will achieve. Because again, a debate will always be a debate. We just sit down and talk without.
Right.
If we don't, you definitely have substance, but at the same time, how will that help in how will that bring change to the lives of people? That's how I'll go back to what I said. Hopefully, the findings, some of the ideas that are gonna be shared out there will be used for policies and advocacy. So that is how I feel, and I hope that the debate will be able to achieve those goals and mission.
Yeah, fantastic. I think what I'm hearing you say basically is, in terms of the issue, political issues are things that are very important, especially that we're coming to the elections in November, and we have two candidates that are they're unique in their own sense and how they can affect our communities as as African and also back home. Because that will be the next question that I have, because we believe that these series or this debate, like you mentioned, and I second that opinion, is that they not only debate to be debates. There are debates that are educational, but also that can be turned into policy that would affect that would have a direct impact on the community here, but also back home. Now, speaking of that, um, how yeah, and you mentioned this, bridging that gap between African here, I mean, in the diaspora, and Africans
Mhm.
back home. How can we leverage the debate to bridge that gap?
Yeah, I think I think we can leverage that in multiple ways, because people back in the continent of Africa, they just look at the world. I don't mean to insult or denigrate anyone, but they look at the world from a different lens, while we look at those of us in the diaspora, being you know we've lived in the diaspora. We've had several experiences with different forms, different types of people. So we look at the world from a different lens too. So bridging that gap sometimes can be very, very, very interesting. We don't want to seem in order for us to bridge that gap. Okay, we may find a way to listen to each other, right? Because I mean, I can tell you, I'm
Okay.
Nigerian, born and raised. But at the same time, when I am talking to my people back home, to my friends back home, when they start complaining about inflation, they start complaining about what is not working in Nigeria. I just listen and say, hold on a minute, hold on a minute. You know, that it is a global problem. We are also facing inflation in the United States, right? And then the next comeback was, don't compare US with Nigeria. So I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing in any way, but I'm just bringing the reality out there that it's not just it's not just a problem of Nigeria. It is a global problem. But this lack of understandings amongst ourselves, those of us in the diaspora and people back home, I think we all, in order to bridge that gap, I think we need to sit down also on the table and begin to listen to each other and find ways that we can work together. Because, to be honest, you know, they complain about how bad the economy back home is, and sometimes we go there with our arrogant, Eurocentric ideas. So we also have to sit down and be on the table together and listen to each other, because if we talk at each other, we'll not get anywhere. So we listen. Okay, you have a good point. Oh, I have a good point. Not just because I'm speaking because I'm in the United States, or because I'm in the diaspora, then I know more than you or better than you. No. So there are ways that we can basically bridge that gap, but it starts with conversation and listening to each other, because we don't.
Terrific. Yeah.
Gotcha. Great. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, well, bringing it back to Ohio, then, how would you envision the role of the African debate series in fostering leadership and change within, Ohio, within the community?
Yeah, again, as I said earlier, I just hope it's not just going to be just a debate, and that is just a debate. And I hope that as it kicks off, we'll be able to to involve everyone. I mean, in the African community, especially those in the academia, the business community, the professionals, not just the business community, professionals, and the academia, so that people can come and share their wealth of knowledge. And we also have, hopefully, we're going to be discussing also African or U.S. African relations, because that is another big issue. That when we talk about, we don't really focus on. All we focus on is, okay, what is going on with us here in Ohio. So I hope that the tent will be bigger, the conversations will be bigger, and at the same time we bring all the stakeholders, the academia, the business people in the business community, and those that have this wealth of knowledge to share from their own reservoir of knowledge, especially in Ohio. And that might help us, as we find a way to craft some policies. Again, as I said, since the chamber is also are involved in the African debate series, that would be an avenue to craft some policies that can be channeled to the policymakers and also advocate for the change that we want to see as a community.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
That is
That's
terrible.
awesome. So Dr. Barth, as I hear you speak, like it seems like you have this burning desire this to help the community. You know, from starting the the African Festival, the Chamber of Commerce. It's just which of it has been the most rewarding experience in working to uplift the community?
Yeah, I can tell you all of it. I can say, but
There's got to be there's got to be one of them that there's got to be one that just jumps out at you like this is it. This is the one that you see
the
out there.
the Columbus African Festival has been tried and tested, right? And I can tell you, this year I sat down just on the at Genoa Park. My friend Sahid and I were just sitting down and looking at everything. Towards the end of it all, I just turned around, I looked at him, I said, you know what? I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us because it's not easy. It's not really easy, to bring Africans together. We're still trying. We'd love to have all the African communities represented all the African countries represented at the festival. But again, as I said earlier, it is a journey, and hopefully one day we'll get to our destination. But when I think about it, this joy of bringing the community, of showcasing the African culture, and again, it's not just about the meat and grill. We did the business forum, which was extremely successful the previous day before the festival. So that was those were just rewarding. I'm not saying that every experience is unique, but for me, 2024 Columbus African Festival, that was the first time I turned around. After all the brouhaha, the tiredness, and the planning, months of planning, turned around and I looked. I said, you know what? I'm just proud of us. So I'm proud of us as a group, and I'm still proud of us that we were able to stage that. It wasn't easy, but that was when I said, you know what? That is it. So for the chambers, we're looking forward to, it's like moving into a different environment entirely, But hopefully, I will sit down here in the next 1 or 2 years to tell you, if it was rewarding or not. But 2024 Columbus African Festival was really, actually, in my own opinion, was extremely rewarding. And I said, wait, that's it.
That's great. That's great. And now go ahead.
No, I was about to say, I think the numbers talk for themselves. If you're saying 1,000 from 2019 to like 10,000 this summer,
absolutely,
they speak for themselves. And then who knows what's in store for next year if that's the case.
No one knows. So
no pressure though.
This guy Tony. Yeah, but it looks like we're coming to the end of this podcast, and we just have a few questions left. But and again, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking with Dr. Barth. Again, like I said earlier, it's a wealth of knowledge. It's a wealth of the conversation. There is in depth. It's not just on the surface. You get a sense that you're talking to with somebody that that understands some of these complex things that are happening in the community. So now, the next question that I have, Dr. Barth, for you is that, and this concerns both the chambers and the debate series, right? Because it appears that you're now part of this whole thing. We can't let you go now, so you're in it. How can individuals and organization get involved with the chamber?
Okay, so part of the part of the series actually is another way of that I said we're gonna start before the end of the year. It's another way of trying to,
Right.
recruit members to the chamber. You offer training, and at the same time you take the advantage of recruiting members. So recruiting members, so making people to be part of the chamber, you have to create programs for them. And it doesn't. Being a member of a chamber, as a matter of fact, doesn't come for free. If you're offering programs, you're bringing people. Let's say, for example, I'm bringing Mustapha, who is an expert in IT, and we're trying to figure out how to encourage people to use some of this IT stuff for their businesses. I'm not gonna tell Mustapha to come and do it for free, right? So we have to pay Mustapha to come. So that's where some of the membership, we're talking about business development. So there will definitely be a membership fee, being a member of the chamber, and at the same time you use the fees to basically help in promoting their business and also helping developing them as business owners and all that. And so that is how they're going to be members of they're going to be part of the chambers. And we incorporate, but by the way, the debate series does not just have to end up with politics, right? We can talk about economics, so
Right.
how is that going to also impact them? So once you're a member, basically you can also take advantage of and we will also have to find a way to keep the debate series going in terms of issues that are going to be discussed or issues that are going to be dealt with in the African community. And sometimes we also encourage them to share their concerns, their worries or their struggles as business owners. As a business owner, I can tell you there are a lot of struggles, that comes with being a small business owner, and I'm sure there are a lot of small business owners out there that are really, really finding it difficult, especially in this climate. So it's going to be intertwined. Right. Being a member of the chamber will also give you the opportunity to learn more about the debate and also hopefully participate in the debate series.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, Tony, you still with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, okay, I thought you were
No.
sleeping.
Our producer keeps muting me. He keeps muting me. Don't get me wrong. It's for a good reason. I'm in the middle of nowhere right now, so it's okay. but to your point, it sounds like you spoke about how you hope that the debate series will impact the future hopes of Africans within the community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's more we can ask there. We really do appreciate all the knowledge that you dropped on us. And I feel cheated because I know you've already had a relationship with Mustapha and DP. This is the first time I've actually, had a chance to sit down and talk to you. And just everything that you said is just hitting tugging all over my heartstrings, and these thoughts that I've had in the future that you've actually moved forward with, bringing Africans together. Like I said, there's just, to me, there's so much pressure on you because now I seen what you did. You started at 2019. I saw what you did this summer.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to what the next few years have to come.
Well, at some point, we have to pass the baton to someone. So I'm using this opportunity to say, you know what, Tony,
sir, no, you can't get away like that. No, not so fast, sir. You're in for at least another 10 years, though. But we're there. Don't
worry. He's trying to recruit you.
And when you look at it, I think sometimes you have to be realistic. You don't have to be the one that has all the ideas, so it's great to have people with fresh ideas, people that will have that fire burning in them, because at some point, we have to also step back, and we're getting old anyway, so we have to step back and let the younger generation take it from there. I was at an event on Saturday, and this lady was talking about the African Youth League in Ohio at the Ohio State University. She said, we started AYL 30 years ago. This year we're gonna be celebrating the 30th year of, So
Wow.
I want to be that person, and I don't know if you've ever been to, you've been to AYL's events. You see, well organized, So that is the power of, allowing other people to take charge. So Tony, I'm saying that to say, just get ready, man. Get ready.
I'll do it.
The baton is ready to be passed on.
I'll do what I can, man. I'll do
The baton is ready to get passed on. But anyways, we have come to the end of our show today, and we want to thank Eco Square. We want to thank all our partners, and we especially want to give a big thanks to our guest, Dr. Shepkong, Dr. Barth, who is doing great things for the African community here in Central Ohio, but also in the state of Ohio. So we thank him, we thank our partners, and Tony, do you have anything to say before we give the last word to our guest?
Oh no, I was just about to say the same thing. I just want Dr. Barth to make sure he plugs everything. Websites. I know we already have. I'm sure our producer will bring up all his websites and everything, but he should plug it also. So, like I said, I already said, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for taking the time to really speak to us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me. I feel honored being in your midst, and it's been great having this conversation. And if you really want to know more about the Ohio African Chamber of Commerce, it's just www.ohioafricanchamber.org. I repeat, www.ohioafricanchamber.org. And if you want to know more about the Columbus African Festival, it's columbusafricanfestival.com. And you can find us also on all the social media handles. And just drop us a message. And we're willing and ready to work with anyone that really is out there to change the trajectory of Africans in not just in the state of Ohio, but Africans in the diaspora. So once again, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure and it's an honor to be in your midst.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's a journey through the heart of African development. Human rights, conflict resolution, sustainability, economic growth. I mean, we get all. We tackle everything. Filtered, unflinching. What more can you ask for, right?
We as the diaspora, we just go through these motions, but this is just a game changer, man. This is just a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives us the opportunity to, to question what we're thinking, challenge the status quo, engage in the issues that matter, expand our thinking beyond the ordinary. That's what we want to do. That's what we're here for.
It's not just it's not just a debate, right? It's also a melting pot of culture. It's a network gold mine. So for professional, and this is across all countries and disciplines, we are coming together to swap ideas. We are swapping ideas and dream up strategy for progress. Because as a diaspora, we need to be a force to reckon, to be part of the solution, to be part of the discussion, because we have so much to offer. But that begins where? It begins with this type of platform, this type of conversation where we challenge some of the preconceived ideas, right? So, to me, it's just so mentally stimulating that I'm looking forward to the debates, who's going to be on it, and I cannot imagine the audience that is going to bring its own energy to the conversation.